Let's start to present our famous light single engine helicopter, the H125. The name of the H125 is the squirrel, écureuil in French, and previously it was AS350. We changed the name of our helicopters years ago, and all the brand new helicopters, they have now the H with a number. Just in case you confuse with the 350, the H125, the squirrel, etc. And the H125 is, I am very proud of that. It's very, very famous in the US. And not only, but especially in the US. And you imagine for us, when you have this kind of success in the US, it's especially important for us, for the police units. And the police units, they are massively using the H125. And of course, in terms of size, the 125 is the logical successor of the Gazelle, which is a 2 tons plus size helicopter. I explained during the firefighting presentation the A-Star nickname of the H125, and again this helicopter is really dominant among the light single engine helicopter all over the world. I will show you a couple of figures. Why the H125 is so famous? It's extremely powerful and capable. He's able to do everything. He's flying fast. He has long range. He has no power limits. The cabin is just amazing. A very big cabin with sliding doors. You can remove the doors. You can do more or less everything with the rotor, the engine behind the cabin, which is a huge safety advantage if you compare with the competition. And in addition, this helicopter is profitable. The cost is very interesting. The maintenance costs are very, very low. I will show you the light maintenance burden of this helicopter. We can, like the Gazelle, stay in the middle of nowhere in the desert during weeks with a minimum of maintenance operation. And it was previously we were using a lot the easy helicopter, easy to fly, easy to maintain, easy to operate, and we are very proud to have this easy helicopter. Imagine that every year, half of new intermediate singles have the H125. And this slide is an illustration of how much the 125 dominate the market. And again, it's logical. When you have an helicopter designed for this role of multi-purpose cost efficiency helicopter, of course, you are dominant. You are dominant because you match exactly the needs of the customer. I will follow this agenda in order to present the H125. Okay, it's a quite light helicopter. And the blades, for example, are foldable in order to make easier the use by the Navy, for example, or for VIP people, and all the very small hangar, police hangar, on the top of skyscrapers in different towns, for example, and it's a very compact helicopter too. You can board up to 6 passengers, depending of your configuration, and the space available in the cabin is very comfortable. The H125 is also very successful for tourism operation, because the people, they feel very comfortable, a lot of space, and with a huge visibility. We introduced last year windows over the passenger to increase the passenger experience. For the police, for example, it's really impressive because you have a fantastic visibility, and this cabin is really a huge success. The ID card, just to identify the main figures of the 125, 2.8 ton max takeoff weight with an external load. And in firefighting, you understand that the success of this helicopter in firefighting is directly linked with this huge capability, and close to 2.4 ton max takeoff weight. If you compare with the Gazelle is a 2 ton max takeoff weight size helicopter, and the gain is quite important. And the range and the speed also. The Squirrel is flying very fast, and if you compare with the Gazelle, it's around 30 kilometers per hour faster. The fleet, more than 5,000 H125 has been built so far. It's crazy quantity of helicopter, and the number of flight hours. I guess we are up to 28 million flight hours currently, and yes, it's a legendary helicopter. The presence of the H125 is quite regularly everywhere. Everywhere in the world. A little bit less in Africa, but in Africa the quantity of helicopter is also a little bit less. I hope personally that the quantity will grow very, very, very soon. In Pacific, in Asia, in Europe, in the US, and in South America, the 125 is very famous. For example, in Asia, in the very high mountain in Tibet, in Nepal, the H125 is mandatory to rescue the people in the Tibet, to support the population in these very, very high altitude areas. You need the H125, which has the world record, still the altitude world record, and for the moment we are still waiting that the competition do the same thing. In terms of segment, the H125 is present everywhere. It's a multi-role helicopter in public services, police, EMS, and mainly for aerial works, firefighting, sky crane, power line, and in EMS, it's for the moment it's not possible with a single engine, but in many countries, like in the US, the H125 is doing a fantastic job in a medical emergency service. As all our helicopters, we are upgrading our fleet every year. And recently, we upgrade a lot the H125. First of all, safety. The H125 from now on is equipped with CRFS, crash-resistant fuel system, in order to deeply improve the safety of the helicopter. even if the design is very safe on the 125 because the fuel tank and the engine are behind the cabin. The power, the Ariel 2D is a very, very powerful engine. And we were waiting for more experience and more feedbacks from our customer in order to release the full power, 952 horsepower of the engine. It has been done this year, certified by EASA. And the performance of the H125 increase due to this release of power. The flight experience for passenger and pilots also has been upgraded with the upper windows, as I said, but also with the lean instrument panel, which is the possibility for the customer to have a smaller cockpit in order to increase the visibility. It's a choice. When you choose your H125, you can have a normal cockpit or the LEAP. I will show you an example later. Or the maximum pilot view kit, which is, I will show you a couple of pictures also, which is for, especially in aerial work, in firefighting, transparent door and floor in order to support the pilot during their very hard work. The cockpit, it's a glass cockpit. The Garmin G500TXI, it's a glass cockpit, touchscreen, synthetic vision system, etc., etc. You can plug with a USB. You can plug your device, for example, your iPad with your navigation program, personal navigation program, and this cockpit is very close to the bigger helicopters, to the EVs, and what we call the HMI, the human machine interface. I would say the discussion between the system and the pilot are extremely good and easy to understand and easy to it's easy to interact between the helicopter and the pilot. Just to focus on the synthetic vision system, you have now the terrain in front of you. Even you have no visibility, you have still the terrain. First of all, it avoids most of the time the loss of references, which is a huge cause of accident, and make the pilot more comfortable by night and in case of inadvertent bad weather. This slide is very interesting. You remember the famous movie when Tom Cruise was piloting the H125 Fallout Mission Impossible, and the leap. It's a small story. The leap is coming from this movie. For this movie, we had our colleagues in the UK. They had to redesign the cockpit panel, and we discovered it was a very great idea, and we created the leap. And on this picture, you have how much the cockpit panel decreased thanks to the leap. Personally, I love this cockpit panel because the visibility is just amazing, and you have just to change your G500TXI, and the MFD, the flight display, is vertical, not horizontal, and the consequence is a unique visibility on this helicopter. It depends on the customer. You have the choice, a classical one or the leap. This floor window, which is the MPVK kit, and immediately you imagine the interest in aerial work in power line, in firefighting, for the pilot to have this transparency on the floor. Same thing on this slide. You have on the right, you have the MPV car with the transparent window and the transparent floor, and you have for the passenger the windows, the upper windows. The MPV car, the crash-resistant fuel tank, very simple, which is now standard on the H125. In terms of mission, it's just to illustrate the fact that the 125 is present everywhere. Military, in the military, the H125M is able to do plenty of mission. It's really a multi-role helicopter. Now, which is important for a fixed wing or an helicopter, it's the mission you have to do: reconnaissance, attack, fires, and the H125 is able to do everything. Of course, like the Gazelle, exactly the same story and family than the Gazelle. It's perfect scout helicopter, but he has also a capability of attack depending on the weapon the customer choice. Can be cannon, it can be rocket, it can be missile, and the H125 has a very clever arms able to support a missile, rocket, everything. Of course, it's also a utility helicopter. I said for the firefighting is able to transport 4 to 5 firefighters. Same thing in terms of troop transport. As you have sliding doors, you can remove the doors, you can transport, and it's a powerful helicopter. I will show you a couple of real picture in operation. You can transport up to 6 fighters with their equipment. It's a perfect helicopter for special operation, and of course for training. In terms of reconnaissance and armed reconnaissance, you have 2 illustrations on this slide with small arms in order for close support in case of, but mainly in terms of reconnaissance, you can put EAS, a visor, a camera. We have plenty of equipment available for this mission. In terms of attack, I love the picture on the right with a minigun and the rocket pod on the right. Okay, it really depends on the customer choice, but the H125 is really versatile, and you on this standard system you can plug more or less what you want. Movement utility, as it's a great helicopter in aerial work, of course, the military, they can use this capability to transport what they need or to transport troops. This picture, I love this picture on the right. I found this picture last year. It's a very bizarre configuration, but very interesting. They remove the doors, like it's very often the military, they remove the doors, and they can transport more than 6 people like this. This picture is in operation in Syria, if I remember well. For the law enforcement, for the police, I said it's a very famous helicopter everywhere in Europe, but also all over the world. All the equipment are available: fast roping, hoist, searchlight, thermal imager. It's already a very famous police helicopter. EMS, even it's not possible for regulation wise in Europe, which is a pity from my opinion, because the reliability of the RL2D is just amazing. The H125 is very famous in the US in EMS. However, in Europe, you can use the 125 as a medical evacuation helicopter in case of disaster relief. For example, when you have no choice and you have to evacuate the people or the wounded people very quickly. In terms of performance, I said that this helicopter is still the world record. It was more than 15 years ago, and still alone. He landed on the Everest. We have a very impressive picture about this performance, but also the H125 is very famous in India, in Nepal, in this kind of country, and every year the H125 save lives in very, very high altitude. A short slide about the performance of the new performance of the H125. In out of ground effect, the performance increased due to the power release certified this year, and in hot and high, the performance increased deeply up to 1 to 2 passengers if you are flying above 7,000 feet, for example, which is quite impressive. And you imagine the dominance of the H125 in a high altitude area is much more impressive with this new certification. The RL2D is a really good engine. Just to illustrate my words, it's I show you previously during the firefighting presentation this slide, but maybe it's a little bit easier now. No power limit up to 8,000 feet, which is just amazing, and you have the external load on the right side of the graph, and the internal load on the left side, and you can understand that the new certification, the new certification has deeply increased the performance of the H125. In terms of maintenance, I said it's an easy helicopter. Nothing to do below 150 flight hours. The pilot can be alone, just refilling the oil and the fuel, of course. But 150 flight hours with no maintenance. And even at 150 flight hours, in 2 days, 2 technicians, you are able to do the maintenance task. It's really impressive. This helicopter has been designed to live in the most challenging areas, cold or high areas. By the way, I made a presentation recently for a customer working in Antarctica, and in Antarctica the H125 is already a legendary helicopter. If, the airframe from Airbus is extremely reliable, but also Safran, with the 2T, they improve the maintenance program of the engine, thanks to the experience, to the feedbacks they got for years, and now the maintenance of the engine is much more light and easy, and the limit, the time before overhaul is now 5,000 flight hours on the RL2D, 5,000 flight hours, which is just absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for your attention. It was a pleasure to present this crazy, fantastic bird that I love personally after more than 6,000 flight hours on the Gazelle. Thank you.